Hello everybody, I literally stopped because I needed to put on the microphone. If you see it on my hood, it looks not so good. How do I get out of here? What have I done? Can I go this way? I'm sorry sir, I'm just gonna use your driveway real quick. Everybody's sir, I don't know why. Hey, today we're not apologizing. We're trying to get out of here. You know, the worst thing is I did this one really fun thing where I went on the opposite end of a one-way, and it was very scary. Oh, it's not? Okay, good. And ever since I did that, like, I'm gonna do it again. I just know I'm gonna do it again. So, I finally found my area where I have to get the hell out of here. Yay, there's like nobody because I work on the weekends. To avoid people, I work weekends and the time they least likely work, graveyard. So it's like perfect. You know what I mean? Like if it could get any better, I would do that. That's why I was like, should I be something where it's like I never have to talk to anybody ever again? Like, can we make a community of just people that don't talk to other people unless they want to make a friend or whatever? You know what I mean? Like I need to move to one if that exists. Still, I'm off topic. What is wrong with me? Sorry, I get nervous. I get nervous when I'm driving. So that's why I talk so much. Is that a person? No, it's not. Okay. So I had one question. I was going to talk about like February type of conversations, like toxic relationships and relationships in general and all that. But February is still going to be around. And the person who asked this question, AM, thanks for asking the question, because nobody was up at that hour or nobody really wants to, you know, like, has anything to say. And maybe more people will say, like, on community, guys, just ask me whatever and we can talk about it, because it's a FaceTime, you know, like, it's both of us talking, it's not just me, and I feel weird just talking about myself. So thank you, AM, for asking a question, and it technically, like, it really does fit with what I wanted to talk about throughout, like, February, which is relationships. And, you know, it's weird because we don't talk about this enough in school. We talk about stuff like, I don't know, maybe I'm just biased because I suck at math, and a lot of the math stuff we've spent so much time, I have never once used it, but relationships really have this extreme impact on ourselves, on our health, on everything, because relationships do, like, eventually, you know, it does lead us to ed or whatever other unhealthy coping strategies or skills, or it's not a skill, it's punishments, you know, we went to. A lot of it is a relationship with somebody that didn't work out, or, you know, failed relationships, toxic relationships, a bad relationship with yourself. So that's why it perfectly. Don't look at me while I'm talking to my friends. Damn it. I'm just pretending I have drama. There's nothing going on. Anyway, speaking of drama, no, just kidding. I took the biggest shit. I'm just kidding. Sorry, no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's for a different month. Is there a month about? Sorry, I keep going off topic. Like, I need something to zap me back. So, AM asks if there's any, like, way to mend relationships with her sister. I happen to, like, relate to this a lot too. So, everybody else that, you know, figured this out and you don't agree with me, or you feel like I should have added more, please feel free and add more in the comments so we have more shit. Everybody contributes to the conversation. I'm not, like, anything special. I just have shitty experiences that I've tried to slide out of, and I think everybody relates to that. So from my experience, I am having some troubles. I have had troubles with my siblings, specifically my sister, yes, because we've never been really close, even if I've tried. And I don't know if this is your situation, because it wasn't very, like, specific, and I understand why you don't want to get specific about it. So I'm gonna try to give, like, a little bit about everything. So for example, I have a sibling where I have one for everything, you know. So I have a sibling where we fought really, really badly. Really badly. Like, this person really put like, we had a disagreement. So if this is you, this is how I dealt with it, okay? So we had a very big disagreement. He did not agree with my boundaries. if somebody crosses a line that I wasn't comfortable with, they're out. They can't come into the house. They can't come into my space. I don't want to see their face. And I'm very confrontational, I will admit. I have an issue with my anger, believe it or not. I can get really extreme. Like, my yelling I get really emotional, and part of emotion is anger. So that's what happened. I got mad, I yelled, I tried to kick this person out. My sibling did not take that so well, and we were both toxic. His strategy with being toxic was yelling hurtful stuff to me instead of trying to find the actual problem, right? So he yelled my secrets, my personal stuff out loud in front of all my family that he knew that I didn't want aired out. So I started to do the same thing. So I'm guilty of it too. I fell for it. We both did it. And I didn't do all of it. I didn't do like super personal stuff. It was stuff that it was already out in the open. None of it was super private. Everybody knew about it, but it wasn't my place to remind everybody about that. So see, what I'm doing here is I'm acknowledging what I did wrong because I have control over what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I can control who I am and what I do. So from that, I messed up with that. I did a lot of like messed up things. The thing was, I didn't really air out anything. Like, everybody already knew what I was saying about this person. Not everybody knew what he was saying about me, and some of the things were made up. So it's fair to say that he failed me as a sibling, because I trusted him with some of the stuff he knew. So because of that, if this is what happened to you, or if you're on the other end and you did this to your sister, she has the right to not want you to heal that. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I don't want any sort of relationship. Like, I don't want to be friends. I don't want to be like okay with you. I just don't want to see you ever again, and that's it. Before, it was if you are willing to work on it, because there's a time to things. If you are willing to seek professional help and get professional help to talk about this issue, because I do not trust this person to be for us both to find a common ground. I don't trust them anymore. If they would have seeked out help, then I would have been okay with it. But since time has passed, I'm no longer okay with that. So if you were the one who messed up, and everybody, there's not a right person and a wrong person. That's the thing, okay? If you have an argument with somebody, if you have an issue with somebody, you both messed up. There's both ways you can fix it. But the majority is, if you did this person more wrong, and it's basically borderline betrayal, you cannot force them to have a relationship with you anymore. They have to be okay with, maybe you could reach out and be like, hey, I would like to apologize. And maybe that leaves it for them. So it's like, do you want to fix this? Because, there was some damage. There was some big damage there. The person then has to decide if you can't force it. You know what I mean? If it's the other way around, that this person did, the messed up bullshit where it's like betrayal, I would suggest don't reach out to them. If they're willing to do this without offering an apology, offering like trying to talk to you, trying to like something, some accountability. If they're not willing to do that, I would say distance yourself. You should not feel forced to have a friendship with your siblings or have a connection with a family member if they're toxic. Now, I had another argument with a different sibling, right? I have a million of them. No, I'm just kidding. And this one, I lost my cool. I lost it, and I yelled. I was tired of feeling like I was blamed for stuff, and I yelled, and I messed up. It was my fault. I'd never offered an apology, but I did try to fix things by trying to like normalize everything. You know what I mean? Like having small talk. Because, okay, see, the thing is with our culture, this is why I didn't expect an apology from the one that did me wrong, because we're not a Mexican culture. I don't know if it is, but within my Mexican household, we do not apologize. We're all in our ego. We all take shit personal, and it's really messed up, and it doesn't get anywhere. So things usually don't get fixed. It usually just gets shoved under the rug, if that makes sense. So I try to, because it makes people uncomfortable. I remember I have offered apologies to people like in my family, and it gets really awkward. So what I did with the other sibling that I like yelled at or whatever, and we both yelled, but I lost my cool, and that's what I'm responsible for, is I try to make small talk, try to get things less awkward. Usually it works. This time it didn't work. This person does not want a relationship with me. We're okay. We're like strangers, like roommates, you know, strangers, like coworker that you don't really talk to. We're okay. We're peaceful, but we're not close anymore. And I don't think it's ever going to get there. And that's okay, because they have the right to not. And if you're in these shoes, you know, because like, I don't know which one specifically, that you can't force a friendship with them anymore. You know what I mean? You can't force it. That's what I had to learn. And I think everybody in your life has a lesson to teach you. So for me, the first one, I think I failed because I can't forgive him, but it's like there's no apology, and even there was no attempt to even try. Because like, okay, we don't apologize. I can get through that and I can accept that, but there was no attempt. So was there an attempt from your sister for it to change? Is she putting effort like my other one, where it's like I messed up more? I feel like I messed up more. I could have done better because I am older. So it's like I should have been more mature and not broken so quickly and yelled. It's the ball's on his court. If he doesn't want to have small talk, if he doesn't, or he does but he ends it, you kind of read the room. You can't force a friendship. That's the thing. You can't do it. If they don't want to put their part in to mend it, you can't freaking force it. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for them either. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen if it's one way. Now, if you have the same issues that I have with my last sibling, because all the other ones, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have that many, but my last sibling, I have tried. We didn't have like a super big argument, like extreme, you know, like just typical sister stuff. But I have tried all my life, and it sucks. Like, since I was in high school, about that, not all my life, let's be honest here. Since high school, I've tried so hard to have this bond with my sister. Like, I want her to want to be around me, right? It's almost like it's switched. Like, I want to be around my little sister, and I want to get, like, to be with her. But she just always she has a life, you know? She has, like, things to do. She'd rather be somewhere else. And we never connected, and I'm just not her type of person. And it sucks. And if this is your case, like, you can just pick which one it goes with. You can't, this is literally the same thing as the last one. It's like, you can't force it. If they don't want to be close to you, you can't. You offered, you tried, you know, you can't put all your effort into a friendship. That's not going to happen. And that's something I had to learn too. And it's really hard. Even today, like, I'm not going to lie, it sucks. And it's just, it's haunting to see, especially when you see it on TV or like shows anywhere, and you see sisters or siblings that are so close. And I used to have that, and maybe you did too. And then now you just, boom, you don't have it anymore. It's never, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing, but if you've tried, you've put your effort, there's nothing else you can do. You know what I mean? It has to be something within you where it's like, you tried, you did your best, it's time to move on. And it sucks, and it's really cold, but once you put that effort down, and you're just like, or like you put your what do you call it, like, you stop putting so much pressure on yourself, feeling forced that you have to do something about it, you feel peace. Like, you tried, you gave it your all, and that's fine. Like, you can't force anybody to be your friend. You can't force anybody to be like, have that bond with you, and that's okay. And it's not on you. It really isn't. It's not on them either, because they have their reasons or they have their life going on, but it's like, you tried. How about this? Answer this question. If your sibling died right now, what would make you feel regretful that you didn't do or say? For me, I would have felt kind of sad that we didn't get to, like, they didn't get to be with me longer and stuff, but I feel like I've tried. You know what I mean? I feel like I tried my best, and I did all I could, and it wasn't enough, but I did what I could. You know what I mean? If you tried your best, you did what you could within reason, because you can't just keep trying in a relationship where they're not putting effort. Basically, it's not fair to you. But if you've tried, you put the effort in, it's not on you anymore. You have to find peace in the fact that it just might not happen. We can't force anybody to be our friends. We can't force people to care about us as much as we care about them, and it's sad, and it haunts me still. Like, it bothers me a lot, because I really did try with my siblings, and I know a lot of people out there try too, but they are their own person, and they have the right to make that choice where it's like, I don't really want to be close to you, I don't want to be around you, I don't want to, like, that friendship kind of is left in the past. And if, I don't know, I hope I somehow explained one of these kind of made sense to you. Another thing I like to do is I try to search up, and I pretend to be like, in the situation, I pretend to be my sister or my brothers, and I search up the issue on Google, or I messaged my therapist one time. I told her in the perspective of my brother in this situation, or my sister, and she'll tell me, I'll pretend I'm them in this situation, right? Because I'm afraid my therapist might be biased and try to justify everything I do. So I try to pretend to be what they did. And that forces two things. One, your therapist or whoever you're asking to, they are forced in a spot to justify the other person's actions, because they're helping you and they don't know it was the other person, right? And then on top of that, you are forced to be in their shoes, telling the story and seeing the other perspective, forcing you to understand where they were coming from. Now, if you've done that and you did your best to, put their shoes on and explain the story through their eyes, and it still doesn't make sense, then you tried. You know what I mean? You tried. Now, what would you have done differently if you were in their situation? What would you have wished they did differently in your situation? And kind of make peace with knowing that, yes, it could have gone a different route, but it didn't, and you have to accept it. You have to accept that this is the way they are, and this is the way things are, and there's no going back. And if you put in all your effort and you tried, you can only put so much in. The rest you just have to stop and put in all that effort to yourself, like you have to, because I'm done, I'm done doing it. I'm done putting the effort with people. Yes, if they come around and they want to talk to me and they want to ask me something, I'm always there. That's what I think we should do. I'm always open arms, but I'm not chasing after them to accept me and want to have this sibling bond with me again. You know what I mean? If you chase somebody, no matter in what way, for a friendship, for whatever, they're gonna run. They know they're being chased, they're gonna run because you're going after them. But if you stop, pause, and just mind your business, maybe they'll come around, and if not, you tried your best. Now, if this can get really complicated. So there are some times when it's, you grew up in a toxic household, and the way your family system was set up was very unfair, especially if your parents are not sane and weren't good parents and didn't, do their job as parents, as guiders. That forces siblings to become in a spot they're not supposed to be in, and that just complicates things more. So that is when you have to find out, were you the scapegoat? Were you the black sheep? I'm still trying to look into it, because I feel weird being like, was I this one? And also your birth stage, what is it called? If you're like the first child, the second child, the third, it really affects your personality and the way you approach things. So that could be another thing to look at. Like, I know the middle children get ignored more often. I know the youngest get like babied too much, where it's like they feel like they suffocate from that, and they feel like they're not allowed to grow up because they're the child, they're not taken as seriously. And I know the oldest tends to feel pressured to do good for everybody else, kind of set the stage, I don't know, stuff like that. So it really affects personality. But I would say mending is not a one-way street. If you are the only one doing the mending, it's not going to happen. It's time to you know, just focus on yourself. Sometimes people need space for a while, especially if you've been trying and she doesn't really want anything to do with it. Maybe once you stop and you focus on yourself, she'd be like, wait, well, where are you going, you know? I don't know. It's kind of like, it sounds weird, but it's like when there's a bunny, like my rabbits, they would run away from me when I had so many rabbits growing up. It was a mistake. But if I let them out to clean their cages and I ran to chase them, they would run. But if I didn't and I would just sit, they would come over to me. So it's kind of like that. It's like you will run if something's chasing you, whether they're chasing you for something like, oh, I got something for you. You're going to run if they're chasing at you full speed. Because it's scary, you know, it's weird, and it's like, oh my god, maybe I should run, you know? And knowing that you will always keep trying for them, for their sake, is gonna make them always think, hey, I can just not try, and they will do majority. But yeah, it just sounds like, I don't know if you're the only one trying. That's the thing. If you're both trying, it's gonna have to get to something. You have to find like a middle ground between both of you. And if it's miscommunication, I would suggest a therapist that could like work with both of you and try to like fix it, or somebody that's very what is it called, mediator, like kind of like that understands what both of you are saying if it's miscommunication, you know? Like I understand how my mom talks and what she's trying to say, but not all my siblings understand that, so they don't understand it properly, and then they can get into fights because of that. So I would just explain it quickly and then get the hell out because it's none of my business, or, you know, go back to watching something on my phone. It's kind of like that. But yeah, it needs two people in order to work. If it's just one, it's not gonna work. Just, you know. And if you want more specific, go ahead and you can leave a comment. It was kind of broad. I'm sorry if I didn't really know. And another thing I was thinking of doing is, so Facebook, you can join groups, private groups, where you get advice too, because I'm not a therapist. I'm not, you know, like I have these issues too, so like it's hard. That's why I mean, like, from my perspective, you can't be the only one trying in any kind of relationship, romantic, friendship, family. You can't be the only one putting all the effort. It's not fair. It's not gonna work. It's just, you need to just let it settle, deal with your own stuff, be at peace that you tried. You know what I mean? You tried. And if it's really bad, it's haunting you, I would say write them a letter and never send it, because it I don't know about the sending the letter. I wouldn't send the letter, but I would just write it so you can get everything out of your mind and like kind of help you hold your peace, because not a lot of people want to sit and listen, you know, to this situation, to the problem, to how you feel when they don't even really care. It's hard. Like I feel like I bore people when I tell them how I feel, so I just don't really say it. And I know that, I don't know if you do this too, but I used to only focus on the other person and try not to talk so much about myself. And now it bites me in the butt, because I want to tell them my situations, my problems, but it's like I'm not given that much effort and time. So that's where it's sketchy, because we make it uneven. You know what I mean? You made it uneven, and to even it out, stop putting in so much effort when they're not giving you any effort at all. That's just how it should go for a relationship. But anyways, I've been talking way too long, and I hope you guys liked my FaceTime. Let me know if anybody else can relate to this and what you have to say about it to AM, because we all could use some help with everything. Okay? Bye.